I'll leave it the open mic.
I noticed that the name of your room has changed, not the new consciousness, but the what you added after that, or end times. Would you care to comment on your choice of wording for that? It's like either this or that. So what exactly do you um, are you pointing to with end times?
Well, it was kind of referencing that Mayan thing. Didn't they had a Mayan thing that the end of the world was going to be? And I was making reference to what we're coming up against could be perhaps a new consciousness, or it could be the end of times, meaning that we might blow ourselves right the hell off of this planet. I don't know whether you guys, I don't usually pay a lot of attention to things that are happening in the world and study them, but I don't know if you guys have noticed that there's almost a teenager that has almost has the control over the atom bomb, the nuclear bomb, moving very closely to it anyway. He became the leader of that country by virtue of his father popping off and leaving him in charge. So now we have a teenager, a young child. I guess he must be a teenager. Maybe he's in his early 20s. That has his finger hovering near the trigger, the little button. Of course, they haven't found the button yet, but yeah, North Korea. And that's the manner in which we can bring this entire experiment called life on planet Earth, thank you, Bucky Fuller, to an end when you have youngsters getting in charge of the red button, so to speak. So it kind of, that's not the reason I had that or end times up there. I'm suggesting in very real way that we either come to this place of a new consciousness, or we'll come to this place called the end of time, end of the world, end of our experiment here. Marilyn.
Something just occurred to me. Edward and I have a very common sense of humor, and we spend quite a bit of our, I mean, the way we respond to the insane things that happens to this world is with humor. And I was just thinking, perhaps, Edward, that if we didn't have that sense of humor, we wouldn't be able, it would kind of balance the god-awful crap that's going on. I think, I don't know if I could, I don't know. In fact, I've often thought that my sense of humor is what's kept me alive in this world, or I might have checked out a long time ago.
Well, that's kind of funny. For sure, it is it is that ability to laugh in the face of death, if you will. I mean, when you look at our world view, if you take a world view of we have nut cases running all over this planet. We have nutheads here in the United States who shoot 20 children and 6 adults, and then in the newspaper or in the well, I don't know, the reports about it, they come out and say, here's the solution to it. What we're going to do is we're going to get some more guns, put them into some more people's hands, and place one in each of our schools to protect our children. So their answer to an overpopulation of guns in here in the United States is to add more guns and have more people with guns in their hands so that they can kill less people. So that kind of, I wonder about that. But if we didn't have a bit of a sense of humor, as Marilyn said, then all of this stuff could weigh us down, couldn't it? Long ago, I discovered that if I didn't put fun in my life, nobody else is going to. Problem is, my sense of fun is pretty dry humor. I think a pig fell in the mud is the best dirty joke I've ever heard.
You're right. It's not funny.
Is that the same way or another way of saying that it's because we're taking this seriously that we should be laughing at it? I don't know. That wasn't really the question that I was going to ask. I was going to ask the words compassion, or the action of compassion and kindness. Those two words, relative. Would you comment on those two words relative to the what you point to as our reality being pure, all violence?
Miss, while I'm answering that, would you type those two words in that little line down there so I can read them? Mercy, I was actually answering Mystica when I said yes. When she said, is it my consideration that we need to be laughing about it? Yes, we actually do need to have a humor about it in a 100% serious way, because otherwise we'll drive ourselves insane. We'll be all hunkering down in some kind of a bomb squad somewhere, or bomb shelter, and getting water and guns. Many people here in the United States are doing that anyway. So yes, without that sense of humor, then insanity is greatened quite a bit. So you're saying compassion and kindness. Well, both of those are doors, if you will, knock, 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 to the word, if you will, called transformed or enlightened or heaven or nirvana or creation or intelligence or love. They are actions that actually are a result of those things, unless they're being done heading in, and then they're probably an action of thought. In other words, what we think is kindness and what we think is compassion. Oh, mercy me.
Now look what you've done. I'm getting used to the mic right after I broke that habit. Now I gotta start all over again. What can I say? Everybody's gonna hear me. Wow. You know something? I'm still learning a lot of things about where the heck did I come from. I'm hearing so many things, and it takes me a while to understand it. You know, I don't just go out saying, oh, this is true. It has to like click in there. You know, it has to be confirmed. It has to make sense. You know, it's like Gateway computer only had 228 gigabytes. Takes a long time to download. And then later on, you know, someone says I was dumb. And it takes me 2 weeks to understand it. In 2 weeks I come back and say, who says I'm dumb? Now, it's the same thing with, you know, with who I am. You know, and now I'm trying to be sure, you know, with this thing that I just picked up in my mind, you are God. I am God. You know, and I start to think about it, you know. Sooner or later it's got to click. Am I God? You know, sometimes I feel like I'm the only one that exists. And everyone around me is just a figment of my imagination. And it's funny because it's true to everyone. You know, the world, the way I see it, the way the Bible is being interpreted to me today, in my mind, that everything that's around us is nothing more than a hologram that is so real that, like I said before, it just looks so real that when the truth comes, right, we can't accept it. It's hard to believe, you know, it's very, very hard to accept. This is an illusion. And then we start experimenting, like touching the table. I could feel it. How come I could feel it? And then a thought comes in, and it says it's because you have a nerve, and the nerve sends signals to your brain, and your brain tells you, sensor, that you're feeling that, but you're actually not. Your brain is fooling you. You know, the brain knows how to make a fool out of me. And you laugh at it because it's true. You know, and people around you look at you and say, this guy's losing it. And actually, I'm finding it. It's like the opposite. Like Jesus went around telling everybody to change their mind. Why? Because they were all backwards. They were thinking backwards. You know, God, you know, sent his son to bring good news, and men started worshiping him and saying, you are God. Welcome. And, you know, and they create another doctrine and a lot of confusion in there. And, wow. I don't even know where to start, to tell you the truth. But at least, you know, I'm happy that hell doesn't exist, you know, because I used to believe that, and I couldn't sleep at night wondering, where am I going to go? You know, I was afraid to sleep at night. You ever got sick, real sick, and you was afraid to go to bed because you don't know if all your sins are forgiven, you might wake up in hell, and this fear would get in you, and I got tired of this fear, you know, and when I met Marsh was one of the first people I asked, is hell real? And she said no, and she explained it to me. It's an allegory. I didn't even know what allegory meant. There were so many words I had to learn, like metaphor. I'm still trying to figure out what that means. You know, and a lot of things that the church didn't teach me. They were just doctrinizing me and brainwashing me and confusing me. You know, so when the truth came, I liked it. But I had this fear that I might go to hell because God is listening to my thoughts. And it was like instant hell if I think that way. But I don't think that way anymore. You know, I let other people brainwash me and doctrinize me and use fear tactic on me. And I trap my own self with doctrine. And that's what man doctrines do. It traps you and doesn't let you think anymore. It keeps you in this fear. God's listening to every word. And every word is going to be judged. And then Christians will come around and bury you even deeper and deeper and deeper. And suddenly I just got out all of that. And I couldn't take that anymore. And I never felt so free. Now I'm so free. I don't have to worry about none of that. You know, I'm not going to be burning in hell. The fire is only going to burn the doctrine. See, that's what the fire, we're going to be saved by the fire. See, that's all it meant. You know, God's going to destroy. And matter of fact, in God's eye, he already did all of that. We're just living in the lag of it, you know, in the lag. But in God, where he's at, and if I am God, and I'm there, and here at the same time, see how confusing that could be? Free Mike. One second. It's been a while. There it is.
Thank you. Hello, Ebbing Tide, long time no speak with, and Sunny Girl 4300-_1. Welcome. Mercy, there's one way you can tell whether you're God or not. Look around. If you don't see any clouds, you don't hear your son yelling, "Oh, you have forsaken me," then you're not God. So now you can sleep at night. That nutcase isn't going to bother you. You don't need to worry about her. She didn't like you anyway, and she wouldn't want to read your damn mind. Oh, union with, oh, wait a minute, forget that union.